Hi, everybody. It's Donald Clark here. How are you? I hope everyone has had a good week, and I hope everything's great. It's been a nice week here in Central New York. We did get hammered by some more rain. It used to be you got rain, and a couple days later you might get some more. Or, you might get a bad thunderstorm. But this year we've just been pounded with rain. It's almost like somebody takes a 5 gallon bucket and throws it on you. That's the kind of rain we're getting. So we got some more rain the other day, and but we're drying out today. Leaves are changing. Flowers are peaked out. It's harvest here in Central New York, so everyone's looking forward to that. I hope you're all well. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about something that it's kind of a private conversation, but you know, constipation, right? We all have suffered from it, and here at CMI Fertility, CMI Healing Arts, we see it a lot. It's common amongst our patients to have bowel issues. Um, some people are born with it, right? Some people everything's a little slower, and some people it just happens with fluctuations in hormones, progesterone being one of those hormones. And it's hard, right? I mean, constipation can ruin your day. And for people that really suffer for it, it can ruin your week. And I've seen some pretty severe cases of constipation in my years of practice. And it's life changing for sure. And if I'm not regular, you know, get out of my way, right? So it's common, and it's kind of one of those things that no one really talks about, right? Because it's private, but we're going to talk about it. So there's a few reasons or a few things that can cause slow bowels or constipation, and in this realm of fertility, um, we I'm so sorry. I'm getting bombarded with text messages. Um, in this realm of fertility, we're just going to focus on why we might have slow bowels or constipation. So, if you generally have slow bowels, going into a fertility cycle, you run the risk of having very slow bowels because it's a predisposition to predisposed to it to begin with, and so you need to be careful. And a few of the causes can be dietary, right? I mean, what goes in must come out, and lifestyle. And so we're going to go over some of that stuff, and talk about ways to help, right? To help with that. So in Chinese medicine, when we have qi deficiency or qi stagnation, or more importantly, liver qi stagnation or liver heat, it creates a deficiency in the body's ability to move things, right? To move fluid, to move bowels. And so we want to make sure that your chi levels are high, and are not high but normal, healthy, and everything's moving appropriately. High stress, everyone knows going through cycles, just daily life, the stress takes a toll on our liver functions, on our liver chi, our liver energies, and that is enough to cause constipation. So even daily stress can cause constipation. And so um, mitigating or managing stress levels is super important in keeping a healthy bowel um, pattern. And when we go into cycles, we're taking a lot of meds and a lot of hormones, and that in itself can cause bowel issues. So if you're preparing for a cycle, or you're thinking about it in the future, bowel health is just as important as anything else, because we all know how it makes us feel when we are irregular. So you know, I encourage people to focus on that. And so stress can cause your bowels to be irregular. On the other side too, it can cause diarrhea, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're talking about constipation. And so stress can do that. Poor diet can do that. Poor lifestyles can do that. Not moving, right? Just sitting all day, not getting up and moving. For people that work from home or work at home and they're sitting all day, it's just, it's just you're not getting that chi movement that you need to get everything moving. So it's important to get up, walk around, do some things, and that'll help. Um, in Chinese medicine, when you are increasing your hormone levels and you're stimming for a retrieval, essentially you're going from 0 to 60 in 2.2 seconds. So you're really coming out of the gate strong and everything's just building really fast. And in Chinese medicine, that causes heat, right? And so, if you have meds that the fluctuation in hormones that can cause a delay in your peristalsis in your intestinal tract or in your lower intestines, and that are responsible for absorptions and such, and you start to play around with those hormones, and so you start to get a differentiation in those two different systems. It can cause a delay in peristalsis, and peristalsis is the function that moves bowels out, right? It moves them out, so it's a little function of little wave of muscle strength that pushes everything out. If that slows down, you're going to have you're going to retain your bowels that much longer. Okay. So now you have this increased heat, right? Energetically speaking. And you also are on the fluctuation in medications can cause that cystolysis to slow down. So now you have a slower movement with heat. And the longer the the longer the bowels stay in the body, the harder they get. And I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. Take a loaf of bread, right? I know. Crazy, crazy Donald. It's true though. Take a loaf of bread, raw, you know, dough, right? Put it in the oven. Turn the oven up higher than it's supposed to be. So instead of 325, you turn it up to 400, right? And you leave it in longer than you're supposed to. What happens to that bread? It dries out and it gets rock hard, right? That's what's happening with your bowels, all right? So they're staying in you a little longer, and you've turned the heat up, so they get hard, right? And so the longer they're in there, the harder they get. So it's important to maintain good bowel health going into this, so that you can keep everything moving. Um, another, so that's important. It's important that we try to, drink lots of water. We try to up our fiber a little bit if we can. If going on keto, right? Keto is a great diet for us. We have great results with it. But one of the side effects to keto is slow bowels, constipation. And that's mainly because you're taking out a lot of your fibers, right? So I do recommend for those that are going into keto or considering trying keto, go in a little slower, especially if you have bowel issues already. Go for keto, do keto, but just transition into it a little bit slower than if you just start it one day, right? If you just all of a sudden, boom, I'm keto, you tend to have a higher risk of having some slower bowels. So kind of gradually go into it, and that'll help too. Um, but try to eat some foods that are going to help you move your bowels, right? So pears. This is the season of pears. I have a couple pear trees that I need to get down to in the orchard and start eating them. And it's the season of pears, and pears are really slippery. They're going to help lubricate everything. We don't want to eat pears. You can eat some, but you don't want to eat a lot when you're pregnant, right? Because you don't want to have too much lubrication. But when you're stimming, you can go ahead and eat some pears. Pears and beets. The old the old standby prunes, right? Those are all very lubricating foods. You want to avoid gluten, right? Bad for you. Sugars, you want to avoid too much sugars. All those are going to create heat, right? So try to stay away from that. So you already have enough heat with your meds, and so try to stay away from the gluten and the sugars. I don't like exercise, right? But I don't want you sitting either. I don't want you sitting on the couch all day or sitting at home all day or at work. I want you up. I want you walking around, and I want you getting, at least going for walks in the evening or in the mornings or whatnot, but walk the dog or cat, if you have a cat or whatever. Um, but don't sit, mild exercise is really good for you. Also, if you find that none of this is helping, right? And your constipation is just stuck, right? It's just stuck. Um, Colace, right? A mild bowel softener, or stool softener, can help a lot. Obviously that's something that we want to do as a last resort, but I do encourage people to try all those things before that they take a stool softener. Now, we haven't talked about acupuncture. Acupuncture is great at helping bowel move, right? So if you have a fundamental qi deficiency or qi stagnation or liver qi stagnation, acupuncture is great at turning that around, changing that and fixing it, getting the qi to move, building your qi, getting your liver qi to move. And so those, you know, that's the root, right? The constipation is the symptom, right? And that's the one thing we keep going back to in Chinese medicine is the root. We can treat the root cause, right? That's what we're great at. The symptoms are something that you have to deal with, but then that's where we come in. We treat the root. So we're going to treat the problem at its root, and we're going to change that for you. That's why I encourage people to get regular acupuncture, because what we do is you come in for your weekly acupuncture appointment and we assess you, right? And so we will look at your tongue and feel your pulse, right? So, in liver qi stagnation or liver heat, you're going to have a red or purple tongue. You're going to see stagnation, wiry, rapid pulse. We can see that. And the beautiful thing about diagnosing with Chinese medicine is that we see something that's happening in your body that you have yet to experience, right? Symptomatically. And that's the real value in what we do. We can predict your immediate future, 10, 20 days out, 30 days out, before you start to have the symptoms, because it's already there. It hasn't developed enough to where it's starting to cause symptoms. So that's our job. Our job is to diagnose it early and take care of it. So talk to your acupuncturist, have consultations. Um, don't let it go. And if you're going to go into a cycle, then by all means, prepare your bowels for that too, right? And I think that'll make a big difference. Please, Wednesdays. Wednesdays is when I do my consultations, and I encourage everyone to give a call, set up a consultation. We can chat about it. We have a great herbalist on staff. She can help you. And by all means, give a call. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you guys real soon. And stay healthy.